right. Pay close attention to this part. The first one, equation given, no word problem. Okay? So you're thinking all four quadrants, right? There's no context, nothing. Right? So we're thinking all four quadrants. This equation is given. So of course you want to enter it into Y1. But most importantly, now that we're turning on plot 1 for regressions, in this case you want that off. We already had a few students with issues here. It doesn't let you graph sometimes when this is turned on. So you want that off, okay? So you enter it, you graph it. You can tell that it should be pointing up, right? You're verifying. So that makes sense. My y-intercept is +9 up here, so it does pan out, right? So I'm just going to chase the curve a little bit higher. So I'm going to go y max to 30, something like that, just to see more of it. And there it is. So the vertex, you find the min, right? So second trace minimum, and you go ahead and find it. Enter, 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 and so that's 1.5, 4.5. And I want you to tell me what you're pressing, okay? Some of us are having a hard time showing our work. So there's a very long algebraic way of doing this, right? So I'm not asking you for a whole lot of work shown. So if you're missing work, you just put a K there for keystrokes. I call that keystrokes because that's really all we're showing. State the range of the parabola. Remember, this is what it looks like. When it comes to the range, we're looking at y values. So you kind of want to go to the lowest, right? From here, it goes up from there. And so we're going y is greater than or equal to 4.5. Or you can go 4.5, that's the lowest, and then goes to positive infinity. You just need to make sure you have a square bracket around the 4.5. And infinity has a round bracket. So I'm going to be picky on that as well. So 1 mark for that as well. State the y-intercept. The y-intercept, this is in general form, no brackets, so you can just quickly answer it like that. State the domain. There's no word problem, so this thing opens up indefinitely to both sides, right? So it's negative infinity to positive infinity, as that works as well, either one of those. State the max, not applicable. There is no maximum on this one. State the minimum. That's the equation of the minimum. So that's y is equal to 4.5. Okay. 1 mark for everything so far. The axis of symmetry, that is the x value, right? That's the line that cuts this the parabola in half. So that's the x value of the vertex. The number of roots, none. Okay. Roots, x-intercepts, solutions, they all mean the same thing. And then zeros, right? If it talked about zeros, those are also roots. So go back to your notes when we did the quadratic formula. I talk about that, right? X-intercepts, roots, zeros, solutions, they all mean the same thing. Now we're switching gears, right? So we have 3 points here, okay, for x and y. It's more like, right, it hits the ground. So there's a context here. There's a context. So now we're kind of restricted to, as you can tell, quadrant 1. Okay, so 0, 80 is my first point, this one right here. The vertex is given, that's 196. And they also give you the time that it takes for this to hit the ground. So this is 3.50. Okay, so technically you have 3 points already. I would argue you can find another one. Always remember, the axis of symmetry cuts this, it goes through the vertex, okay? If it takes you, how many units does it take you horizontally to go from here to there? It takes you 1, right? So it stands to reason that it would take another 1 unit to get to here. So this would be 280. If you did not know this one here, this one would have saved you there, right? We're going to talk more about that later. But anyways, you have the 3 points. Let's talk about the domain here. Because we're restricted to first quadrant, our x value starts at 0 here, and it stops at 3.5. So this should be 3.5 there, no infinities here. For the range, we're going from as low as 0 and as high as the vertex, which is 96. So from 0 to 96, that's 1 mark. The axis of symmetry, that's the x value of the vertex, so that's x is equal to 1. And here's the equation. So I already put the points here. I'm going to say this is L1, L2. Okay, this is part of the work that I need for this. And then I'm going to go stat, calc, quad reg. Right? So you type that into your, I should have done that ahead of time. Didn't do that. 0, 1, 3.5. 80, 96, 0. If you get these points wrong, it will usually give you a dimension mismatch or something. So be very careful how you enter the values, right? If you flip it, it's going to complain. So stat, calc, quad reg, L1, L2, alpha trace, Y1. You feed that, and that is what you should be getting. So y is equal to negative 15.54 x squared plus 31.54 x plus 80. And that plus 80 should not surprise us. That's what we're expecting. Right? So if you don't have that plus 80, because we know the y-intercept is 80, right? So then you should be wondering, like, what went wrong? Did I make a mistake? It's pointing down, correct? It should be negative a negative leading coefficient. So there's a lot of things that you can actually look at to see, am I on the right track? It's not guaranteeing you the right answer, but okay. So for 12, I'm going to make that worth 2 marks because I kind of need to see that you're gathering your points and then coming up with the equation. So the way we mark this, this is coming from the province. If you get any of these points wrong, like if you show us that you did this wrong, you lose a 1 mark right away. But then we still give you a mark for the equation if you show us what you've done. Okay. So if you go L1, L2, you tell us a little bit of what buttons you pressed, and then give us the equation. And the y equals has to be there. If you don't have that, you lose half a mark. Okay. You will see me go N for notation. If you forget y equals, or if you forget to put x down here, that's also notation error. So half a mark deduction every time. So this page is 13 if you've done, because of the last one being worth 2, it's out of 13 overall. Make sure your name and last name is on there. And we will